For those of you I know out there, good to see you. For new friends, welcome. All right. Seeking Safety, just to let you know, for those of you that are new, is a curriculum that's used nationally. And it was created for veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder and substance use issues. But what we found was that the stuff in this book is so good, everybody needs to know it. It's a really, really good collection of coping skills and ideas and information given to us to help us learn to be safe, learn to be at peace, and learn to be happy. I mean, that's my goal, right? To be happy. So, Seeking Safety is one of the greatest classes I've ever taught because it is so concise. It talks about the issue and then it takes us right to the solution. Right? That's what I love. I love solution. I love solution. So, this module today that we're going to be talking about is about anger. It's called Healing from Anger. So, anger is a big, big issue for a lot of us, especially now when there's so much unknown going on, when there's so much turmoil and distrust and difficulties in the world as there are right now. Anger is natural. Anger is a natural response. We're going to get to that. You know, I've been told if I ain't angry, I ain't paying attention. And sometimes that's true. I've got to be able to pay attention to my life so I can make changes. And that's what anger does. Anger creates change. I love talking about this. So, pose the question, do I have a problem with anger? Okay, it's got things like I blow up at others. I often criticize others. I feel anger but don't express it. That's that building up anger that we can have. I have impulses to harm others. I never feel angry. Now that's a sign that we never feel angry because anger happens. Anger happens and we need to walk through it and feel it. We may hate ourselves. We may often isolate, feel bitter, have impulses to harm ourselves. And others have said we had an anger problem. So others can indicate to us when something's going on with us. You know, when it talked about never feeling angry. Sometimes, to be perfectly honest, I had to be told I was angry because I didn't see my behavior as what I understood anger to be. We all learn from those significant people in our lives as we're young that, you know, how to handle things, how to do things. Hey, Bruce. We get that information when we're younger. Parents, friends, teacher, other family members, coaches, pastors, whoever it is that influence on us, helps us understand what anger is and how to process it, how we act when we're angry, what is acceptable, what is beneficial, what are those things we can do when we're angry that can better the situation, right? That's what I want to know. I wasn't necessarily taught that though, right? I was taught about the rage. I was taught about the underlying anger, right? I wasn't given a lot of coping skills. So when I had to deal with anger when I first got sober, I was scared to death. I was scared to death because it was a new thing for me. And I was afraid if I actually got angry that I would do something that would harm someone else or me, you know, and that it would never go away, that there was no solution to anger. Anger is simply energy, right? We want to get into that. I love this chapter. Okay, there are two types of anger. It's important that we know anger is not bad or wrong. Let me stop there. Anger is good. Anger is good, right? I can't tell you that enough. Anger is nothing but energy, just like our other emotions. It is a naturally, it's a natural experience that we all go through, no matter who we are. Everybody gets angry. Some of us show it and some of us don't, but everybody gets angry. And it's good to be angry. There are a lot of things we need to be angry about. Injustice, systems that don't serve people, people that don't serve people, right? People that do not have our best interests. I don't know where the stinking thinking came from, but anyway, so anger is good, and it gives us the energy to promote change. All right? Would you listen to that? Anger gives us the energy to promote change, whether it is in our personal life, in the relationships we have, in our community, in our jobs, or whether that is society, where we hold up our banners and say, enough. The anger that we have, if we can harness that energy, that power, and shift it towards the good, we are unstoppable. We are unstoppable, right? And I always live by the premise that that was trying to kill me, I can use today for the betterment of myself or someone else, right? So anger's a good thing. We just got to tap into that energy a different way, or at least I did. It says the two types of anger. It can be used constructively to help us heal, to be honest with others, and to face our pain. Or it can be used destructively to act out against ourselves or others, to give up, to become bitter. Anger itself is not the problem. It's all in what we do with it. It's all in what we do with it. Constructive anger, using that to heal, to be honest with others, to face that pain, to walk through that pain, to have the energy to go through, right? Destructive, where it takes away from us. We use it against ourselves or other people. And anger, again, is not the problem. It's how we use it. Constructive anger. I'm going to tell you a little bit about constructive anger. Constructive anger is explore to understand ourselves and others better. Explore it. We look at it. We share it with other people so we can have a better understanding of it. We look to see how I can understand my anger in this situation. What am I angry about? Right? That's the thing, because sometimes what I'm really angry about is not what's making me rage right now. Right? That's that blow up at others when I don't necessarily want to. So we explore our anger, how it affects ourselves and other people, how it can be used constructively. So we begin to understand how this works, how this anger works in my life, and what it's giving me. See, we never do anything without getting a need met. Everything I do is me trying to get a need met. So I got to ask myself, what need is this anger meeting in my life? Another thing is conscious. We're aware of it. I know when I'm angry. I know when I'm angry. I can't say that for my whole life. There were times in my life that I was walking around smiling and joking, but down deep, I was so incredibly eat up with anger and couldn't get used to it. So I got to be aware of it. I've got to be conscious of it. Bruce is just yakking. All right. Oh, he says he used what me taught me, and it's working for him tremendously. That's the thing. I had to learn about anger. I thought it was bad. Never get angry. It's not true. We should get angry. We should. And when I'm aware of it, I can use that anger to push me forward. It's handled well, not acted out in dangerous behaviors. I don't harm others today. I try not to harm others today. Let me put it that way. I try to act in a way not only that promotes my self-respect, but promotes respect from others. When I lash out in anger, first of all, 9 out of 10 times it's not going to get me what I need, right? And it's all about what we need. So how I react to this anger is important. When I handle it well, I'm using that constructive anger. Respectful of our own and others' needs. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. But when we are in that constructive anger mode, there's respect. There's respect for not only what I need, but what you need. It's a mutuality. I'm not better than you. I'm not more powerful than you. It is respect across the board. Right? And it is about the respect for us getting our needs met. So, there are great benefits to constructive anger. It can help us protect ourselves from anger, or protect us from danger, convey insights about ourselves and others, and give us real power. Give us real power, right? So that's what I want. I want as much control of my world as possible. And being able to use anger constructively gives me more control. I don't know about you all. Well, we'll talk about destructive in a second. But I was not in control back in the day. So destructive anger is acted out in dangerous behavior. Acted out in dangerous behavior, hurting ourselves or others. I act in a way that is harmful. That's a destructive behavior. I let my emotions go until I do something that I end up being ashamed of, or I end up regretting, or I end up feeling guilty about. I act in a way that hurts me or hurts others. Whatever that looks like, body, mind, spirit. We can be harmed in many ways. And a lot of times anger is behind that harm. So when I am acting out in a dangerous behavior, it's not using my anger like I want to. It's not expressing my anger in a way that is beneficial to me. So I act out in dangerous behavior. It's underground, it's quiet, it's seething, feeling bitter, resentments. It's that underground current of just always being mad. That's how I was. I might have been laughing, I might have been joking, but inside I was extremely angry. So that's that underground seething, that when I'm not able to express it, right? When I'm choosing not to understand it, right? It's also unconscious. I'm not aware of it, right? Just like me. I didn't know I was mad all those years. Now I knew I was mad about some things, but I didn't know that I was in a constant state of anger. I was always on the edge of blowing up. I carried that trauma. My trauma created anger, right? And that's not a bad thing, because that is the power that we need to get on the other side of things, right? So my trauma produced anger, when anger is exactly what I needed, but I didn't know how to use it constructively, right? So I have a choice today. I have a choice today. I get to weigh out what's benefiting me, what my actions are, what my attitudes are. And I get to choose today, how am I going to react to this? How this situation, which disturbs me in one way or another, makes me feel like I'm disrespected or rejected. How am I going to deal with that today? How am I going to get to the other side of that? Is it going to be blowing up? Or is it going to be through walking through? I want to walk through today. I want to get on the other side of it, because when I blow up, it stays. It stays in me, right? So, constructive and destructive anger. I need to remember that there is great cost with destructive anger. I can destroy my relationships. I can cause physical harm to myself and others. Destructive anger weakens me. When I continuously lash out, I'm not learning a way to get my needs met. I'm not learning a way to take care of myself and get what is most beneficial to me. Right? When I'm always lashing out, it can cost me greatly if I get in that mode of destructive anger. If I'm continuously not addressing that underlying issue. Now it says destructive anger can be directed towards ourselves or directed towards others. It says destructive anger towards self, things like self-harm, suicidal feelings. That's putting other people's needs too much ahead of ours. If you're more important than I am, then your needs are more important. And that is that destructive anger towards self. That will eat my lunch. If your needs are more important than mine, if you are always going to be the one that gets their needs met and I don't, after a while that makes us angry. And we retaliate. We retaliate against ourselves. Why am I doing this? We should on ourselves. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be acting a different way. But that anger towards myself cost me a lot over the years. I was angry at some situations in my life, of some past experiences, but I was mostly angry with myself. That was the core of it. And that anger spilled out on people, right? Because it will come out eventually. Destructive anger towards others, verbal abuse or assault, putting our needs too much ahead of other people's. That's just as bad as the other way. When I am all that and you are insignificant, my expression of anger is going to be different than if I think of you as an equal. If I think of you then less than me, that's where bullying comes from, right? That's that destructive anger towards others, where I begin to bully people, where I began to manipulate them. I began to do things to harm them, right? So, and that's not getting me what I want, because what I would want more than anything is to be part of, right? I want to be part of other people. I want to be connected. I want to be accepted, right? And when I am angry and doing these things, lashing out at others, harming myself, it's not getting my needs met. What I want is to be, but when I use destructive anger, I separate myself, I isolate myself. That's the flip side of what anger does. It can make us alone, or when used appropriately, can bring us together, right, by walking through it. So these are some things you may not know about anger. Like I said before, it says anger is normal in recovery. If you've been through a terrible experience of trauma or substance abuse, anger is inevitable. We may feel angry at people who hurt us, at the world, at God, at ourselves, at life, at professionals, at family, at strangers. Our anger is valid and real. In recovery, the goal is to use our anger as a way to learn about ourselves and grow. The task is to face our anger without letting it destroy us or other people. To face that anger. Wow, that's good stuff. Chances are, if you're watching this, you've had a reason to be angry. Right? A lot of us went through trauma. And as a result of trauma, we had behaviors that continued to not benefit us. So, but I want you to know that anger is normal. It is like any other emotion. It is like joy. It is like peace. It is like sadness. It is necessary in our world, right? The energy that we use. I keep going back to energy, right? I need to use that energy in a positive way. But I need to be realistic about anger too, right? If someone steps on my toes, literally, or, another way, it's all right for me to be angry. If my needs aren't getting met, it's all right for me to be angry. I just got to use that anger in a positive way. Behind all anger are unmet needs. Anger is a signal that something's wrong. It may mean that we are not taking enough care of ourselves, or that we may have a lot of sadness to work through, or that we're in harmful relationships. Listening to our anger and caring for the underlying needs can resolve anger. Absolutely. Anger is a signal to us that what we're doing isn't working. I've got to shift. I've got to change. Right? So, behind anger is all unmet needs. When I don't, and not just food, housing, water, those kind of things. Things like love and acceptance and respect. When we don't get those needs met, it can make us angry too. Constructive anger can be learned. It's never too late, no matter how long you've had a problem with anger. Mainly, it requires really listening to others' feedback and your own anger, owning our feelings rather than acting them out, expressing anger in healthy ways, and learning to tolerate the painful feelings behind anger. The feelings behind anger? Well, anger's anger. No, sometimes anger is sadness. Sometimes anger is grief. Sometimes anger is disappointment or fear. I was most comfortable with anger because it does make us feel powerful. right? It gives us energy, it makes us feel powerful. I like that a lot more than I like sadness. Those were my two primary emotions, sadness and anger, pre-recovery. Today I know a different way because I learned it. Constructive anger can be learned. I learned how to use my anger in an unbeneficial way. I learned that from, people in my life, especially as a child, that taught me how to deal with anger. Um, but I had to learn a different way. I had to learn to deal with anger in a way that benefited me because I was tired of that rage separating me and isolating me, right? So we can learn constructive anger. I believe we can learn anything given the right set of circumstances, the right reinforcer, and the right outcome, right? I believe we can learn anything. And when I learn in love rather than fear or anger, I learn a lot quicker. People had to show me how to deal with my anger. They had to show me how to walk through it without harming anybody else. But I learned. I'm still learning. But I've learned some skills that have helped me over the years. Destructive anger can be an addiction. Destructive anger can be an addiction. Because it's that power, because it makes us feel big, right? And it says, can we see similarities between destructive anger and substance use? For example, the more I engage in it, the more it increases. Also, the destructive anger, we may feel high in the moment. It says, have you hit bottom with destructive anger? Has it caused serious problems in my life? Yep. And I can see the similarities of, I feel sad. I feel really, really sad today. When anger gets involved as my go-to emotion, I can cover that. I can cover that emotion, and it can become an addiction. I can absorb so much anger that reacting to it becomes my addiction. That's my instant gratification. You cut me off in traffic, I'm flipping you off, right? You do this to me, I'm on you. Whatever that looks like, that we've got to do it more and more and more just to keep the power that we've got. That's not how I keep my power today. My power is multiplied by love. I know I'm hippie. Destructive anger never works in the long run. That is so true. Because it's going to cost me something. It says we may get the results in the short term. People may do what we want. We may in that moment. It's only later that we see that these were only an illusion. Destructive anger spins out of control and weakens our bonds with others. I know it spins out of control. I've been so angry before I thought I just lost it. And it didn't get me what I needed. It didn't work in the long run. If we bully people, if we intimidate people, if we are abusive to people, it doesn't work in the long. It doesn't get me what I want. I want to be connected to people. Anger separates me and isolates me. I want to be able to use that energy to bring me to somebody. to connect me to somebody. So we're going to talk a little bit about the solution, and then we're going to have a second class where we conclude. Before, during, and after, the 3 ways to heal anger. To transform anger from destructive to healing, 3 key strategies are helpful: before, during, or after. So we can approach anger before we get angry, during our outburst, or afterwards, right? We can still have influence in the throes of our anger. We can still walk through after we've done something that maybe hurt someone else or hurt myself. Bruce, you're the only one here today, man. Call your friends, bring them home. So, before is important. Before I get into a situation that's going to make me angry, I got some things to look at. It says, prepare now before the next anger episode. Prepare now. You know I'm all about a plan. I'm all about a plan. It says, when we're in the midst of destructive anger, it may feel right to do something we later regret, whether it's hurting ourselves or someone else. The feelings are so strong that we may feel we have no choice except to go with them, to go with that wave of anger. They're like a tidal wave. That must be where I got it. Think of all the times we've sworn things will be different next time, but they aren't. The only way to make them different is to establish strong motivation and then work at it. It doesn't happen on its own. My key question is, why is it in our best interest to solve our anger problem? Because I want to be connected. Because I want to be a part of. That's one of the biggest reasons I chose to tap into that anger and begin to walk through it. That, and it was destroying my life. It was destroying my life. And that's the first thing. Observe the cost of our anger. Has it isolated us, keep you from feeling peace, hurt our job performance, left scars on our bodies? Observe the cost of my anger. What is it costing me? Relationships, comfort, jobs, homes, cars. We can lose a lot as a result first. So when I think about what this is going to cost me, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I don't like to do a pro-con list. I like to do a cost-benefit list. And that way, whatever the situation is, I can talk about what it cost me and how it benefited me, right? And when I look at that, it helps. When I look at that on paper, it helps me understand the seriousness of the situation, the potential loss. The potential loss in my life. Okay, the next one. Get feedback from your anger. Hearing how others view our anger problem can give us important information. Becoming defensive or dismissing feedback keeps us stuck. We do not have to agree with others, but listen very carefully before you decide what's true. When we talked about the underground, that seething, sometimes I've got to depend on others to help me understand what I'm doing, because it's a mystery to me. Because I've always done it this way, and I didn't know there was another way to do it. So I got to learn by getting feedback about my anger. Am I an angry person? Is this something that needs to be addressed? Do my friends, my family, do professionals, do people at work, man, you got an anger problem. Why are you so angry all the time? When I hear that, it's a clue to me to address it. Okay, here comes the fire department. When somebody gives me a clue that there's something going on with me, it behooves me to pay attention. At least that's been my experience. When there are people in my life that I trust that tell me, you're angry a lot, or you just don't seem to be happy. It seems like you're mad at everyone. When I get that feedback, it allows me to know it's time to deal with this. Feel the impact of anger on our bodies. People who get angry a lot are more likely to have physical problems and die younger. I did a class on stress management one time. Need to do that again because I got something. And what it taught me was stress, excess energy, whether negative or positive, that especially that negative energy, when I store it in my body, it infects me. It infects me with disease. Always remember to spell disease by dis-ease. I'm not at ease. So when I understand that anger can cause me illness, that's another reason to understand how the effect of anger has on us. So feel the impact on our bodies. Do we notice intense stress that anger puts on our bodies? Can we feel the tension it creates? Like I said, anger and stress, that energy, that unresolved energy, when it goes on, if I ate pound cake every day for a month, every day I eat a pound cake, by the end of that month, my body is going to have changed, right? The way it has processed it, the way my body reacts to it. It's the same way with stress and anger. When we are in too much stress, when that anger is always there, it causes dis-ease. Dis-ease. And I don't want that anymore. I don't want to feel that pain, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. I don't want to feel that anger. But the diseases it causes are significant enough, as diabetes, heart disease, cancer. Anger can cause these things because we swallow that and it infects our bodies, right? Another reason we've got to be careful with anger, because it can cause dis-ease, right? Okay. Oh, and another thing, when we get angry, it takes like 20 to 30 minutes to calm down, right? It takes a long time for my body to readjust to that energy and finally calm myself. 20 to 30 minutes, that's a long time. For me to get to that moment again, right? It takes a minute when we get agitated, when we get angry. Notice whom our anger has hurt. Is it ourselves, our partner, our children, our therapy relationship? Anger scares people. Even if they can't tell you that, see the other's pain, the look in a child's face, the partner who becomes quiet. If you're feeling empathy for someone, you cannot simultaneously harm them. That includes ourselves too. Notice the anger. Notice the hurt behind it. This is one of the greatest lines in this entire curriculum. Remember that you cannot unstab someone once the damage is done. Words are like a knife. They cut. And there will always be a scar. So we need to be careful. I need to be careful today to notice who my anger is hurting, to notice what I'm doing that's not working for me, right? So I want to notice, who am I hurting with this? How am I hurting myself? Learn more about anger. The more I learn about a situation, the more likely it is that I'll be able to walk through it easily. Not easily, but easier, right? So the more I learn about anger, whether it's taking an anger management class, an assertiveness class, whether it is talking to a therapist or a psychiatrist, all these things can give me knowledge. All these things can help me learn how to deal with this thing, right? Carry an anger reminder. Carry a physical reminder of how destructive our anger can be. For example, a photo of someone you've hurt with your anger, a list of hospitalizations. For some of us, it's real easy to see what our anger cost us because we just hit that sheriff button and it prints it all out. Oh yeah, I did that and that and that. Yeah. Sometimes it's easy to figure out what anger has cost us. But that anger reminder, if I can remember in that moment to choose constructive behavior, then it changes everything. If I can reach into my pocket and pull something out that says either this shows me that I don't want to hurt anybody, or this thing shows me what I have to lose today by that destructive behavior. So carry one of those reminders. Do surround ourselves with people that understand us. That's hard to do, especially in the beginning, because I was so shut down. I was so angry that I didn't trust anybody. It took a long time for me to trust people. And anger's part of that. My anger separated me from other human beings. And that is the exact opposite of what I wanted. I wanted to be connected, and anger separated me. Right? So, next session, we're going to go over what we can do during and after an anger episode. Right? So, again, anger is good. Anger is really, really good, depending on how we use it. It is an energy source within us that, if used in a way that benefits me, can change my world. Can change my world. When I was able to let go of some of that anger, when I was able to use that energy in a different way, it all wasn't right here in a ball in my chest. When I was actually able to use the energy of my person, it made all the difference to me. So, constructive anger, shoot for that. Do the things that help us get to the other side of anger. All right. That's about it for today. I want to thank you all for coming. I appreciate you all being out there, even though it's just Bruce. Bruce, where are your friends? Oh, wait. Let me go down. Bruce says, it's how we put it out is how we'll get it back. Excuse me. How we put it out is how we'll get it back. Remember, it said anger scares people. I need to remember that. All right. Thank you all for attending today. I hope you got a little bit out of it. Again, next week is part 2. We're going to go over what to do during and after an anger episode. So come back. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.